Oh, yeah. Hello, grasshoppers. Greetings. How are you this afternoon? I am so happy you stopped by because today we're talking to my friend Eric. Eric has wonderful stories for us, a world of wisdom, and is putting on an on fire challenge right now. So I know you're going to want to give us an earful. Through the comments, through anywhere you want. We're open. But I'm so excited to introduce you to Eric. He's just doing some wonderful things, and it's exciting. And he's also kind of a video geek like me, if you couldn't tell from looking at his frame. So, without further ado, Eric, welcome.
Hello, how are ya?
I'm so good. I'm so glad to have you.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well, would you start out by just giving us the basics, the info? Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
Okay, well, that's always a loaded question because I could probably talk for a while. I mean, everybody likes to talk about themselves, right? But I'll try to keep it somewhat brief. I call myself a B2B missionary because I work primarily with business owners, entrepreneurs, and I propel them towards their higher purpose. That's really where my goals and objectives and my plans are, is to help business owners find and fulfill that higher purpose. A lot of times what I found is that they don't really even know what that is. And if they do, they don't know how to align their business with that higher purpose that they have in their life. And so I come alongside them and help them do that. Um, Background, history, story, whatever. I've jumped around from a variety of different industries. I didn't go to college right away after high school. I actually went into construction, started doing that for off and on for a while. Ended up starting my own business in construction. Did that for a while. Got out of that industry because boy, I didn't like it. Did not like doing all that kind of manual labor and stuff. So I ended up in the financial services industry, and I sold credit card processing. I have worked at a bank. Most recently, I'm actually still a licensed insurance agent. So a lot of things in those financial areas. And so I got both sides of the business, the physical, the actual hands-on, how to take a plan and develop it, to the numbers and financial statements and all that. In the meantime, amidst all of that, I went to college, got my business degree. So I've done all of those things. Most recently, I was working a few years ago as a sales trainer in a card processing company, and then COVID hit. And so I was furloughed, and I took that time to write my book, which is the iNautilus Guide for Organizational Navigation. It's my system, my methodology, boiled down into about 70 pages. So it's a short read. I get to the point, man. I don't like to mince words. I don't want to flower it up. I want to get tools and resources that are available and useful. So that came out, and then I found my job went away altogether. So I took that as an opportunity to start my business that I've wanted to do for a long time, and here we are with Green Fire Innovations. So that's kind of my story. Most recently, I was actually teaching a couple of entrepreneurship courses at a local college. So I've kind of run the gamut of owning businesses, working for other people, physical trades, finance, and teaching it to others. And that's kind of my background.
It's so, it's unique to be a generalist in that sense, in that you really did take the world tour of every perspective. But now, I mean, that must be so valuable to you, being able to lean on all of that experience to develop a strategy for probably just about any situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I've learned over the years is my strength is systems. I love systems. Systems are the solution to every problem. Okay, I'll say almost every, just so I can qualify it a bit so that people who disagree can't, but really they're the solution to every problem, because everything that happens in your business, if you really look at it, it's probably lacking a system. And so I'm really good at finding those and developing those and creating those. And so I've kind of taken that and built systems for the things that I recommend other people do in their business as well.
Beautiful. Well, and I love, we could talk about systems all day long. Oh, I love them. I love patterns of behavior. I love systems. I love technology. I love putting the three together in a combination that makes things rock. And of course, I mean, I'm talking to another geek. We could be so deep in the weeds in this
Yeah, we
conversation.
could. We really could.
Tell me what you love about creating systems for people.
Well, anytime you're working, well, let me back up. First of all, we were designed to work. Like a lot of people think of work as a punishment or drudgery. If you really look at things, we were designed to work. And so when you are working in your gifts and talents and calling and the things that you were designed to do, it's fun. So I love developing systems, even if it's for someone else. Now, I was good at carpentry and construction, and I could design and I could build and I could do all the things. But at the end of the day, I completed the project, I walked away, and someone else enjoyed it, and I hated that.
Yep.
This, even though it's similar, can create the system. A lot of times I may walk away from it, but even when I don't, I can take pieces of it and I'm using it elsewhere. And so I don't have the same issues. Obviously, there are also kinds of work as well. I wasn't using my talents, I wasn't using my abilities, whereas now I am. So yeah, it's I've got a weird mix of talents and abilities when it comes to detail versus big picture. I see both.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's one or the other, but
Yeah.
I can focus on either.
Well, that's one of the talents that makes you one of a kind, though, Eric, is because most people either only see close up, how many fingers am I holding up, or they're seeing everything from 30,000 feet,
Mhm.
and looking at everything overall, but having no idea what the details are. And so the ability to go back and forth with people and help them see the other side of whatever they're not seeing, that's got to be a joy as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's not that it's oh, I was made this way and so I can only see, big picture or no, you can learn to see both. And so in one of my leadership programs, I talk about the different styles of leadership. And I'm not talking about like preferences. I mean, uh, where you lead from. And so sometimes you're leading, if you think of an army as a metaphor, right? Sometimes you're leading from the front lines, and you're leading that charge, and you're pulling people behind you. You are the point, right? The point person. Other times you're leading from the middle, and that's when you're really focused on your team, and you're focused on development and internal. Sometimes you're leading from the rear, and you are trusting everyone to move in the right direction. They know where they're supposed to go, and you're watching their six, and you're, observing the state of the army, right? But other times you're leading from the air, and in the air, that's where you've got the 30,000-foot view, and you're seeing the entire battle as it's taking place. And I mean, sometimes the analogy breaks down because life isn't always a battle, business isn't always a battle, but in terms of the analogy, I mean, that's where so those four positions are really where leaders need to be able to lead from, and not one of them, all of them, and be able to move between them and go where is needed at the time.
Okay, I'm just letting you know right now. I might have to use that analogy again because it was so right on, and I loved it. Because most people only think about developing from wherever they happen to be standing. They're not thinking about switching the view,
Mm-hmm.
switching the perspective, so that they
Yep.
can get a more objective view and lead better.
Yep.
Gosh, I this is fascinating me. Well, I do want to ask also about, people listen to this particular podcast to get more ideas and get more tips on using engagement in their marketing and in their fulfillment. And so, tell us the story of your challenge. I want to
Hmm.
know.
Well, I really hadn't thought much about doing a challenge. I've been through a challenge before, several of them, but and it actually led to buying a program. So, you would think that that would have entered my mind right away. Maybe I should do that too. It didn't for whatever reason. And I was offered a free trial of a 3-month trial, which was a nice long time, right? A 3-month trial of a third-party system that helped you build a challenge and run it. And so I utilized that and I walked through that. And it was my first experience building, creating, and running challenges. And I liked it. I liked the methodology. I liked the process. And so I decided to, rather than continue on with the third party, I actually just built it into my own website. So it is live there now on my website, and it's called the Juggernaut Business 5-Day Challenge, because the entire purpose is to propel your business into juggernaut status, which I define, or actually the definition, Oxford, I think it was a huge, powerful, overwhelming force. So the Juggernaut Business Challenge is all about helping you turn your business into a huge, powerful, overwhelming force for positive change in your world.
Boy, and don't we ever need that? Right time for this challenge, right place, Eric. That's pretty amazing stuff. So that juggernaut, I think that's going to really kind of propel people into taking action. So, what you mean by juggernaut is, of course, the powerful force. How have you seen your clients kind of respond to that idea and become juggernauts themselves?
Well, more than anything, because again, I tried to keep it fairly light, right? I don't want to make this too heavy. So it's to get a taste, right? So the people who've participated so far, and there haven't been many because it's brand new. So the people who've participated so far, though, have said that it's got them thinking in ways they hadn't thought before. And that's the whole point. You need to be thinking differently if you want to make change. And if you want to become world changing, whether that's, people get the wrong idea about that too, that, you want to change the world? Oh, that sounds daunting. It doesn't have to be. Changing the life of one person changes the world. So I tell other people, if that's your goal, is to help people or to change the world in a positive way, I change the world by helping one entrepreneur at a time.
Yeah, and there are those who, they measure juggernauts. We were talking about this a little bit beforehand, but they measure their juggernaut in how many. But there are some times when it's more appropriate, due to size of business or what kind of an engagement you're running or whatever. Sometimes it's the best. I mean, a powerful force of one, those things happen very often. Meet my wife. Anyway, so yeah, that's I'm excited about your challenge. I'm also excited about you. You said it had been on a third-party platform. And for those of you who are not geeking with us on that, what that means is that somebody else out there has a system that runs that would have the content on that and all their for the challenge.
And an
what
app.
You decided to do, this one's inside an app. What you decided to do was move that all onto your own platform. Can you talk to us about what that kind of thing entails, or what's the benefit?
Oh, well, so I just wrote a blog article recently about taking inventory. And what I mean by that is, especially as solopreneurs or small business owners just getting started or whatever, resources are limited. And so, I absolutely believe in abundance and we have to operate out of that. However, there is reality as well. And sometimes you have to pick and choose what you do when. So for me, bottom line was, I'm already paying for a website. I already know how to use it and I know how to build things in it. And so rather than pay for hundreds of dollars a month for a third-party system, I felt I could create something nearly as good, or maybe as good, I don't know, but on my own website using resources that I'm already paying for. So that's kind of that was my thought process. And not everybody has the level of web skills that, not that I do. Don't get me wrong. I've just over the last few years, I've learned WordPress and figured out how to use plugins and manipulate things. And I'm also, because I love systems and tools and resources and technology, I tend to push things to their limit and beyond. So I will. Pretty often I hear comments from web developers or software people who are like, "Wow, we've never seen that problem before." Yeah, that's because of me. I'm sorry. But
yeah, we did the same to our bot platform people. They're often like, "We didn't design it to do that." I know, but it could do that.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, yeah, I mean, there are times and times when you have the ability and the time to just go, okay, let's move this thing in house. And sometimes that can allow you some better control.
Sure.
And the other thing, of course, is with platforms. I don't know if you even know this, Eric, but about 2 months ago, I think it was, my Facebook account got hacked. Someone stole thousands of dollars from my bank account, and I got kicked off of Facebook for what they were doing. And I tried for 30 days to get back on that platform that I have spent thousands of dollars on and thousands of hours on. I had that account since 2009, maybe. And there was no way to get it back because no one was reading any of the things that I was sending in. And it was the 30th day that I decided, yes, Facebook is a behemoth. But do I want to continue to invest in a platform that cares so very, very little about the people that are on it? And so it was like, you know what? LinkedIn, here I come.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I would even say, I'm still, even though I've been doing this for a couple of years now, I'm still new. I'm still getting rolling, right? So my audience isn't huge yet, but I mean, there are some things I've done and put into place now so that as I grow and as I get more and more people, so I have forums on my website. And rather than go to Facebook groups where, again, if they decide to shut down groups tomorrow, that content's gone.
It's gone.
I don't want to have somebody else having control over my content. So as much as possible, I push things back to my website. That's because, that's where you want your audience anyway. You want them at home on your page, on your website, on your landing pages, on your content. And so newsletters are important for that. And your email list is crucial. And so, yeah, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's a good lesson to know, though. It's a good, and it's a good consideration to make every time, if you are a person who's geeky like us and has some tech skills, every time you do something, is this better off on my own ground or is this better off someplace else?
Well, I'm also, and sometimes you have to, but I really dislike single purpose tools. And so if it's got one, even if the other side of the argument is you'd say that people can say, oh, but it does this one thing better than everyone else. That's great. But if you need 500 of those one things to do your job, it no longer becomes effective. So once in a while, you need the one thing that does one thing well. The rest of the time, I really try hard to find things that have multiple purpose. And so website's a great example of that, right? Because you can do a lot of things in your website depending on the platform it's on. Mine is a WordPress site. So WordPress has hundreds of plugins and tools and resources that you can make it do just about anything. So for me, that's valuable because then it becomes a multi-purpose tool.
Yeah, certainly. And, I know a lot of people that love and swear by WordPress. I was making sites on it a long, long time ago, and I ran to Squarespace just because it was so much easier to do.
Sure.
But WordPress knowledge is always good for folks.
Yeah.
that are geekery. If you're not geekery, get a professional.
Well, and that's actually what I did. I built
Yeah,
the website originally in Wix, and I
yeah,
built it myself and did it. And was starting to already within 6 months, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having to correct things, fix things, things are breaking. This is taking a lot of my time. So I hired a web developer, somebody I knew, and his recommendation was WordPress. So I really didn't think it was the best fit, but now it's done and I'm ingrained, and so I'm going with it, and it works well. My
yeah,
website doesn't look complex. There is a lot going on behind the scenes. So
yeah. It's like a duck. You don't ever see him paddling below the surface, but you know there's something going on.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Gosh, wonderful. What, just thinking about your business, um, what do you love the most?
And okay, just in general.
Just in general. I mean, you can certainly, I wanted to leave that question open to you, but I
Yeah.
really want to show people the passion
Uh,
behind Eric. And,
okay. Well, I guess it comes down to, and this is kind of some recent rediscovery. When I started teaching the class at Valparaiso University, two classes actually back in January. Building the classes and teaching the classes basically took up all my time. So that was kind of a pause in my business. And so after that was done, it was like, okay, it's reboot time. What's going on now? Well, how do I really jumpstart things and move forward? And I kind of had this realization. I'd been going after one ideal client, and I kind of realized I have two. And so if you haven't been to my webpage or haven't noticed, I have a lot of stuff on there. I'm a Christian. I come at things from that worldview. And so people who are not Christians, or at least don't ascribe to the concept of a higher power, a God, are probably not going to resonate with me. And that's okay. Everybody's got to find the right people to work with, right? So for me, that's kind of my vein. And my focus was on faith-driven entrepreneurs. I've realized now that what my ultimate objective is, yes, to help those people and propel them towards their higher purpose, but there's a whole lot of other people who are open to the concept of, yeah, there's a God, but that's kind of as far as they've taken it. And so they really need to know who that is. And so part of that journey is not only helping them in their business, but also helping them realize that there's a creator and a designer, and here's who he is, and here's why it's important to know who he is. So it's twofold: those who already know him and those who don't. And but obviously that's not for everybody, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
really
answer your question
interesting.
though. That
Oh,
was just getting started. Sorry, I just realized I never
yeah.
answered your question.
All right, go ahead and answer the question, and
So
then we can feedback. That'll be great.
all of that to say, I really get excited when I can help a business owner find that ideal destination for their business, and then chart a course to get from where they are now to where that is. And it may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, but creating that plan is really exciting, because my purpose in life, my higher purpose, is helping other people find and fulfill their higher purpose. I don't get super excited about causes. There are a lot of things out there that people get really passionate about: helping homeless people, or the hungry, or human trafficking, or drug addicts. There are all kinds of causes out there that I just don't get excited about. But I get excited helping those people fulfill that. That's where I really come alive.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, my friend, if you have one pearl of wisdom to scatter out, and I'm going to encourage people. Before you do that, I'm going to encourage people, check this challenge out. Check this challenge out. There's a free version. There's a paid version. You want to explain the difference between the
Yeah.
two there?
So if you want forever access, it's $49. If you want free access, which is free, use it or lose it, right? You have 7 days to complete the 5-day challenge. If you don't complete it in 7 days, you lose access. If you do complete it within the 7 days, then you get a free upgrade to forever access. So it's a, hey, do this and you get it for free. Don't do it and you lose it. So
There
a
you
little bit of
go.
incentive.
Love that caveat so much, because it's unlike a lot of challenges. This is a rolling entry. Anybody can get in at any time, right?
Yep. You
Yeah.
can start today, next week, whatever.
That I love the concept of that, and we'll keep some tabs. We'll keep in connection about what's happening with that. I'm really interested to see what your results are, because that's a kind of model that I could easily, see adopting over here.
Yeah.
This has been the greatest. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you
Hey, this has
for
been fun.
Yeah, thanks for visiting my audience, and telling us all about the challenge and the different things that you're doing for engagement in there, and just sharing us a little bit of you today.
Yeah.
This has been awesome stuff.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate you
everybody,
doing this, inviting me and having me and all that.
absolutely,
You asked
absolutely.
for one pearl of wisdom. The one pearl of wisdom is this:
Yes.
find, follow, and finish a system.
Find, follow, and finish a system.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
knew
if
you'd
you can
like
make
that.
that system fun,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But I'm
Well,
sorry, it's not always fun. Accounting is not fun.
not for me.
For some people, it is. Not
For
for
my
me.
accountant, it's
Yeah.
fine. I guess. I don't know, but yeah, no. Beautiful. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna chuck on out of here, and we'll be back. I'll be back, same bot time, same bot channel next week. And for all of you out there, I'm just gonna repeat the pearl of wisdom: find, follow, and finish a system. See you later, everybody.
Amen.